Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting for the town of Quispamsis for Tuesday, May 25th. With that being, we'll go on to item 2, the approval agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? Darren?
So moved.
Seconder, Brent?
Second.
Who was it?
Brent?
Brent.
Yep, seconder. On the question? All in favor? Brenda?
Hang on,
Oh.
if everything's working, you should get a vote up. There should be, you guys see that in front of your screen?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Vote now.
Everyone votes,
it's still,
except for you and Brent won't vote. I
mine's
don't,
already checked.
yeah.
So do you have to put submit or just?
Submit, yeah, submit. Violet, do I?
Okay.
Is my vote in?
No,
You did press submit. So
Oh,
I do need to vote.
yeah, I guess so. I guess you gotta. I didn't know you had to. I thought you didn't.
okay.
I don't see the update yet. Okay.
Now you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with a 5-0 vote and one absent, motion carried.
High tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Move on to item 3, disclosure of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of previous minutes. Any adjustments to the minutes? Anyone? No, none being. Can I have a motion to approve, please? Mark?
So move.
Kendall?
Second.
Kendall, second it. On the question, all in favor?
Just say vote now.
Vote now.
So the public will know what you're doing.
Voting closed. Motion carried, 5-0. We'll move on to item 5, business arising from previous minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please? Brent?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda?
So moved.
On the question, voting is in process, please.
Yeah, Brenda, you do.
Say still, yeah, you just say yes. Submit, yeah.
Voting is now closed. Motion carried on a 5-0 motion. Move on to item 6, unfinished business. None being, we'll move on to item 7A. And that's Palmer Brook Road. So could the applicant please come up and state their name for the record? In the meantime, Jennifer's going to give us an intro to the item, please. Okay, Jordan, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, before you is an application for a similar or compatible use for 179 Palmer Brook Road. The applicants are applying for a small car sales establishment. And they're going to provide just small vehicle sales. The only concern that staff have is that the area for the parking is restricted, so a number of cars on the lot at any one time. I'd recommend that we give a number for the amount of vehicles for sale that are available on the lot. The intended hours of use, Monday to Tuesday, 10 to 5. 1 to 6 on Thursdays and Fridays, and no hours for Wednesdays, Saturday, or Sunday. Notices were sent out to properties 100 meters in the area, and at the time of the report, there were no concerns received. And that's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. You would receive the same package we did in the mail. Is there anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to members of the PAC or public asking any questions? No. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Brenda?
Just a quick
question. Is 10 cars sufficient for your business at this time?
Yeah, at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Brenda, you back on again?
No, I'm just trying to.
Okay, I got you off. Good. Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Brent?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that PAC approve the operation of vehicle sales as a similar or compatible use and a variance setback 6.P3B of zoning bylaw 038 to put parking within the required front yard setback on property of 179 Palmer Brook Road, PID 3034554, subject to the following terms and conditions. The dealership must comply with all provincial regulations and conditions as set by the Motor Vehicle Act. 2, the inventory of vehicles displayed for sale on the lot should not exceed 10 vehicles at any one time on the lot. 3, all maintenance or repairs to the inventory of vehicles is to be performed off-site. No service of vehicles is permitted on-site. 4, hours of operation fall between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. as permitted times. And 5, all signage will comply with the town's bylaw number 36.
Thank you, Brent. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Oh, wait, go ahead, Kendall.
I'll second that.
Thank you. On the question? Commence voting, please. Can we vote on that?
Yep, just slow it open.
Okay,
It's loading, there we go.
all right. Voting's in progress.
Mark's not showing up and Darren's not showing up.
I voted and I submitted.
So did I. You didn't show up yet in your vote?
Yeah, he came up and I voted.
Did you, too?
Mine did too, yeah. And I pushed submit.
No, it's me that's left it. Sorry, all systems locked. Sorry.
You guys are probably sweating now. You think?
I know.
Just like the election, just like the election's coming out here.
Well, election's tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been waiting for 3 weeks or whatever for results.
This is just precursor to the election MD tonight at 8:30.
Yeah.
He has a majority because it's 3 positive and 2 so.
Well, yeah, I've got 3, but then I got this,
Oh, you can see it up there. Okay.
yeah, and I'm locked. You can see I can't move.
Are you backed in? No?
No, it's just,
I voted yes. So.
I voted yes.
I can't,
Okay, due to the technical glitch, we have a unanimous vote, 5-0. So congratulations. In 5 to 7 business days, you have a letter in the mail with your approval, and please work with the town, get all necessary documentation signed and dated, and best of luck. Not a problem.
Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
We'll take a pause here,
yeah.
Violet, for a second.
Back in for a second. Sorry about that.
Is 7B online? Chrissy? Do you know? 7B hasn't logged in, so we'll move to, okay.
All right.
Okay, 7B, we're gonna move that to the last item, not online yet. Otherwise, we'll move to 7C, the Highlands of Queensberry. And could you please come up and state your name for the record? In the meantime, maybe Dwight, you could introduce the item, please? Thanks, Rick.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the item that's before PAC is Highlands of Queensberry subdivision phase 5. As I've stated in my staff report, this particular development is a portion of a sort of a larger tentative plan that have come to PAC on several occasions over the past few years, mainly coming as phase 5 to 10 and then from phase 5 to 7. This particular application is obviously a subset of that overall development, as is shown on the screen. So it's sort of the first portion of Highlands of Queensberry coming in off the Vincent Road. So we're looking at 6 lots. At this stage, the developer has done a significant amount of construction, so the road is pretty much in, I would imagine, to probably sub-base to base level infrastructure is in terms of sanitary sewer, storm sewer is in, the necessary outlet going into the detention pond is in. So all that's been done in accordance with a set of engineering drawings that has come to the town has been approved. So at this stage, the developers reach a stage where they want us to register the plans in order to move to getting building permits and commence with the actual residential development of this phase. So from a planning perspective, it's followed all the items that were previously discussed and presented to PAC. In my staff report, I did mention there was a need for a site distance. That was obviously done earlier this month. It was submitted to me, but I didn't receive it. So, but a hard copy has been provided tonight, and that meets all the requirements with about 195 meters of site distance on either side. So that isn't a concern at this time, and it meets that criteria. Although this portion is only looking at 6 residential lots, and when you look at the overall area, you know, the overall area can produce more than 25, and under subdivision bylaw, a water analysis needs to be done. What I recommended in my staff report, I'm looking for support of PAC as we move forward, is that we would, at this stage, because it's 6 lots, under the subdivision bylaw, subdivision of less than 10 lots, we don't have to do a water study for. In this particular area, it would be, I think, more prudent to wait to the next phase till we get into that level, because you're actually getting into sort of the heart, if you will, of the area, and you'll get a better reflection of sort of the water capacity and yields in that particular area. In this particular case, you're on a low end in an area that's mainly a wetland area, drainage area, so we wouldn't anticipate any water challenges in that particular area. As we move further in, I think it would be more prudent to look at it at that time. Other than that, right now I'm just looking for PAC to provide recommendations for moving forward with the plan. Obviously the street's in, and all the other elements in terms of LPP. LPP was met for this particular phase because of a cooperation between 3 developers who looked at the stormwater management plan for the overall area and created the stormwater detention pond. So a portion of the parcel needed to create that lot was provided by this particular developer as part of this phase. So the LPP requirements have been met at this stage. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Dwight. Mr. Turner, you would have received the same package we didn't mail. Is there anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to answering some questions from PAC or the members of the public?
No, totally in agreement with staff recommendations, and COVID affects a lot of things like schedules, and that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? None being. Anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time. Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Kendall?
I'll put a motion forward. I recommend that PAC approve the Highlands of Queensberry Phase 5 subdivision plan, subject to the following conditions. Number one, the street design be supported as submitted and traffic calming measures be incorporated into future phases in accordance with the town's traffic calming policy or deemed necessary by the town. Number two, a line of sight and stopping analysis be submitted to the town confirming compliance with the Transportation of Canada standards for design, street design, geometry, and speeds. Number three, approval of the proposed street name, Galmorgan Drive. Is that correct? Number four, the required LPP land dedication of 900 square meters for Phase 5 be satisfied from 4,333 square meters land bank credit from subdivision plan number 31727903, which created a portion of the detention pond parcel adjacent to this development. Number five, comprehensive water source and supply assessment, CWSSA, report be submitted beyond Phase 5 and reviewed by the town prior to final plan approvals for subsequent phases.
Thank you, Kendall. Can I have a seconder for that? Darren?
I'll second that.
On the question? Commence voting, please.
It still says voting in progress. It's been on since the last item.
It's been going on.
Yeah, I went out and back in. It's not asking you to vote either yet?
I got one vote already.
So back out to the top left, the very top, keep going, yeah. Then open your meeting again. It's weird, I don't know why that's doing that.
That's locked up.
I got it now, yeah.
Seems to lock up when I go into edit, and I can only see the motion, full motion if I go into edit.
Everyone see that? You can go up to the top left if you gotta go back out to the document and open it up for tonight's meeting again, then it kinda reboots it.
One more, Kendall.
There, you can vote now, can't you?
There we go.
Just wait.
There we go.
Voting is closed, unanimous decision, motion carried, 5-0. Best of luck, Rick, get everything documented, not I's dotted, T's crossed, work with the town, and best of luck with the development. Thank you.
Take care.
Chrissy, are the candidates here for, online for 5B? No? So, someone make a motion to maybe
Well,
table that, do we?
Can we ask planning if it can be reviewed? Mr. Chairman.
Dwight, Jennifer, what do you think about carrying that one on, or what's your thoughts?
And why not?
Yeah.
So it would be come back to PAC in terms of a comfortable level and looking at the actual item that's before them. If they feel that this is a reasonable standard item, and there's been no concerns received from residents around, then the applicant doesn't necessarily have to be here if there's no questions. If there are questions that arise and they feel that they need to be answered, at that stage they can make a motion to table. But if they feel they have enough information before them from staff and from the applicant and from the documents that have been presented in your package, then PAC has the option of proceeding to consider the item and make a decision. But if questions arise and they need answers, that time they can table it.
Thank you, Dwight. What are the wishes of members of the PAC? Have any concern? Anyone have any objections to moving forward, put it that way. Brent?
My only question is if we proceed, which I'm fine with, do we set precedent?
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I could hear the question, I didn't hear it totally.
He said, if we proceed, are we setting a precedent for anything future if no one shows up and why we didn't review their application?
So through you, Mr. Chair, as with any item that comes before PAC, it's on a case-by-case basis, so you look at the actual request that's before you. You look at the amount of information that you have from the applicant, his documents that he submitted with his application, the staff report that comes from obviously this case from Ms. Jarvis, and then you decide whether, okay, this is something I can make. If somebody comes in with a separate item and it's contingent and there's lots of concerns and they aren't here, that's a different matter. So we take it as a case-by-case application basis.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, why don't you just give us a review of the document?
Sure, Mr. Chair, thank you. This is an applicant for two different properties. They're looking for three variances. 16 Khaki Court requires two variances. One is a side yard setback and the other is for a lot size variance of 30 square meters. That would be to allow a two-family residence to be built at 16 Khaki Court, And 10 Khaki Court requires a side yard variance. These are the 30-meter side yard variances that are required in a rural zone that we see often. The layout of the lots doesn't allow for a 30-meter side yard variance, so, and the 30 square meter lot size variance, we've already received a letter from Tim Brown, the plumber with chief plumbing inspector with the Department of Justice and Public Safety, saying that they had no concerns. Staff have no concerns.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone online willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone online or in the audience willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Darren?
Put a motion forward that PAC grant a 20-meter side yard variance to section 25F3 for both 10 and 16 Khaki Court, PID 303-43651 and 303-43669 respectively, and a 30-meter lot size variance on section 25K2 for 16 Khaki Court, subject to the following conditions. 1, dwelling units found at both 10 and 16 Khaki Court, inclusive of accessory dwelling units, shall not contain any more bedrooms than permitted by the New Brunswick technical guidelines for on-site sewage disposal systems based on lot size and suitability. And 2, a building permit is issued prior to construction.
Have a seconder. Can I have a seconder on that? Mark?
So move.
On the question? Voting, please vote. Voting's closed, motion carried, 5-0. So with that, the applicant will get in touch with the town and make sure all the necessary documentation's in place and everything's looked after, and the letter will be sent out to the applicant in the next 5 to 7 business days. Item 8, none being, we'll move to item 9, adjournment. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconder on that? No seconders? Come on now. Brenda?
I'll second that.
All in favor, you don't get a vote that, so motion